Ex-police officer David Paulides coined the term Missing 411 during his investigation into why so many missing person cases happen in national parks across the US. Throughout his research, David has covered hundreds upon thousands of the strangest missing person cases, and believes that something is keeping these people hidden. While many succumb to injury or the elements, there are a few missing 411 strangest cases that just don't quite make sense. Number 5. Brave, determined, and outgoing are all words that Lisa Sayers would use to describe her 27-year-old daughter, Samantha. During her teenage years, Samantha developed alopecia, which caused her to lose all of her hair. This autoimmune disease would be enough to knock the confidence off any young woman. But Samantha, or Sam as she was lovingly known, took it in stride. She experimented with wigs but found that they were too uncomfortable, and instead opted to sport her bald head with pride. She would easily explain her condition to her classmates and was incredibly likable. Sam also had a deep love for the outdoors, which was ignited during her time at the State University of New York. After obtaining her master's degree in technical theater design, and technology, Sam moved west to Seattle. It was here that she met the love of her life, Kevin Dares, a single dad to 3 children. The two quickly hit it off after matching on Tinder, and the relationship went from strength to strength. The couple would spend their weekends visiting peaks and mountains across Seattle. In August of 2018, Samantha would embark on a solo hike along a trail she had taken many times before. Kevin had been unable to accompany her, like he had so many times before due to work commitments. Kevin had no doubt that Salmon would be more than capable of taking care of herself, but little did he know that his girlfriend's case would become one of the strangest missing 411 cases in America. On August 1st, 2018, Sam spoke with Kevin, outlining her plan to hike the Vesper Peak Trail in the North Cascades National Park in Washington State. The trail is tough and not for novice hikers. Sam told Kevin she'd planned to hike from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and that she would be home by the time it was dark outside. The two kissed goodbye for what would be the last time, and Sam hopped into her blue Ford Fiesta and headed for the Sunrise Mine Trail car park. We know that Sam arrived at the car park as witnesses and park staff recalled seeing her car in the car park. She then made her way along the Vesper Peak Trail, walking to a 4,000-foot incline. Before she set off along the trail, Kevin sent his girlfriend one final text, saying, quote, "Be safe, SOS me if anything goes haywire." By that afternoon, Sam had made it to Vesper Peak, and was seen eating the sandwiches that she had packed. At 3 p.m., Sam made her way down Vesper Peak on the southwest side. This would be the last time she was ever seen alive again. When 6 p.m. came, and the home Kevin and Sam shared was empty, Kevin began to panic. He immediately jumped into his car and drove to the Sunrise Mine Trail car park. A sickly feeling washed over him as he spotted Sam's blue Ford Fiesta in the car park, but there was no sign of Sam. According to Kevin, he made his way along the treacherous trail to look for his girlfriend, but found no sign of her. In the early morning hours of August 2nd, 2018, Samantha Sayers was officially reported missing. When 6 a.m. came, the entrance to Vesper Peak Trail was swarming with search and rescue volunteers, along with the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. One by one, the volunteers and law enforcement officials began the long trek along the trail, looking for any sign of Sam. The Snowhawk 1 helicopter, fitted with infrared cameras, was sent to scour the North Cascades National Park, but no heat signatures were spotted. For 22 days, SAR and law enforcement officials continued to scour the North Cascades National Park, but no sign of Sam has ever been found. Scent dogs failed to follow her scent to a particular area, and no cell phone pings could be picked up. Her car and her signature on a trail log were the only pieces of evidence to confirm that Sam had entered the park that day. After 22 days, the search was officially called off, and Sam's friends and family were left to pick up the pieces. Lisa, Sam's mother, now believes that Sam did not have a mishap in the park or simply became lost. While details are few and far between, Lisa told media outlets that she believes Kevin is behind Sam's disappearance, or that she was captured and trafficked. Investigators believe that Sam either became injured in a dangerous part of the park, or became lost and ran out of food and water, and had no way to signal for help. Whatever the case, the mysterious disappearance of Samantha Sayers has shaped up to be one of the most bizarre national park disappearances in recent times. Samantha Claire Sayers is described as a white female with a bald head and a tattoo of stars on a vine. She has green eyes, is 5'8" and 125 pounds. She was last seen wearing a green sports bra and gray hiking pants. Anyone with information is asked to contact Detective Kendra Conley of the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office at 425-388-3839, quoting case number 2018-107-945. Number 4. 64-year-old English-born Nita Mayo was known for her keen sense of adventure and fun. Nita had moved to the US to be with her American husband, who was enrolled in the Air Force. The two settled down in Oklahoma and raised 4 children together. Nita's daughter, Tracy, told a reporter, quote, "Getting to know all the parts of the United States was something she enjoyed, and she loved scenery." The Mayo children hold many fond memories of impromptu road trips with their mother, which makes her mysterious disappearance all the more heartbreaking. Nita was well versed in hiking and adventuring, so how did she end up the subject of a missing 411 case? In 1990, Nita moved from Oklahoma to Nevada after all of her children had grown up and had flown the nest. Nita found herself a job as a nurse at the Mount Grant General Hospital in Hawthorne. Those who worked with Nita described her as a hard-working and dependable employee, and they knew that she lived alone. By 2005, Nita had become an established part of the team, so when she failed to show up for work, they knew something was wrong. August 8, 2005 was a day off for Nita, and she decided to spend it exploring and shopping. That morning, she had breakfast with a friend, telling her that she planned to visit Sonora, California, which would take her over the Sierra Nevada mountains on the Sonora Pass on State Route 108. Sonora sits around 175 miles away from Hawthorne, Nevada, and Nita knew that she would be able to make the trip in a day. At 11 a.m., the two said goodbye, and Nita jumped into her 1997 silver Mercury Sable station wagon and began what would become her final journey. As morning broke on August 9th of 2008, the nurses at the Mount Grant General Hospital quietly shuffled into their morning rounds, but one of them was missing. Nita's absence was immediately noted, and her co-workers began to call to make sure that everything was okay. When there was no answer on the phone, one of her closest co-workers decided to visit her home. To her horror, Nita's station wagon was missing. Her co-workers were aware that she had made plans to go on a day trip, and were now worried that she had been involved in an accident. By that afternoon, Nita Mayo had been reported missing to the local county sheriff's office. To this day, Nita's disappearance remains one of the strangest and creepiest in history. A search was immediately put together, and investigators set about retracing Nita's last known movements. On the day she disappeared, there was no indication that anything was wrong, and she was said to have been in good health both physically and mentally. On August 10, 2008, deputies got their first and only major breakthrough in Nita's missing person case when they discovered her abandoned station wagon. It had been abandoned at the Donald Vista Overlook off State Route 108 in the Stanislaus National Forest. Nita's car was found locked, and her purse, ID, credit cards, phone, and car keys were inside. The car had a keypad which Nita preferred to use. The only things missing from the car were Nita's camera and her prescription sunglasses. The local sheriff's office also found souvenirs from the nearby town of Strawberry in Nita's car, which proved she had made it to Sonora before stopping at the Donald Vista. But where was Nita? Search dogs were called in to try and trace Nita's scent, but it was to no avail. The Modesto Bee reported that California Highway Patrol used their helicopter to scour Donald Vista and the 1,000-foot drop into the middle fork of the Stanislaus River, as well as the Stanislaus National Forest. The search for Nita continued into mid-August, but as the days went on, hope slowly fizzled out. After a week of searching, the sheriff's office ended their search, but Nita's family didn't give up. Her children traveled around Hawthorne and Sonora, placing missing person posters and appealing for anyone with information to come forward. A forensic examination of Nita's car was performed, and investigators failed to find any signs of foul play. One theory that online sleuths have developed is that Nita fell off the 1,000-foot drop at Donald Vista while trying to take photographs. Her family holds the fear that Nita was taken against her will and may still be out there somewhere. Nita Mayo is described as a white female with brown hair, brown hazel eyes, 5 foot to 5'3", and 140 to 150 pounds. Her ears are pierced, and she wears oval prescription glasses. She was known to be wearing a gold mother's ring and a silver necklace with blue and pink stones. Anyone with information is asked to contact the sheriff's office at 800-228-3592, quoting case number 052406. Number 3. 23-year-old Vernon Cody Matthews was an anthropology senior at the University of California, Berkeley. Cody, as he was lovingly known by his friends and family, had a keen interest in dinosaurs and would jump at any chance he got to participate in archaeological digs. His parents often joked, calling him Indiana Jones, and supported his deep love of anthropology, archaeology, and geology. With this passion, Cody was well versed in survival and the great outdoors. By 23, he was considered an experienced outdoorsman who could survive almost any situation. This makes Cody's mysterious wilderness disappearance all the more baffling, and many years on, his parents are still coming to terms with what happened. In early June of 2014, Cody left his university dorm and headed to Pollock Pines, California, close to the Sierra Nevada mountains. The Matthews family owned a cabin here, and Vern and Cindy, Cody's parents, had planned to arrive at the cabin a few days after him. This would give Cody ample time to live off the land and explore the many forests around him. Cody's parents knew that he was comfortable in the outdoors and looked forward to seeing their son in a few days. On June 6th, Cindy received a terrifying call from her son that would set in motion a truly bizarre string of events. Instead of being greeted with pleasant stories of his days at the family cabin, Cindy was hit with the shocking news that the cabin had been ransacked. Cody informed his mother that the thieves had stolen jewelry, cameras, and tools that amounted to between $13,000 and $18,000. Cindy and Vern were rocked by the news and made plans to head down to the cabin the following day. Before hanging up, Cindy and Cody talked about his plans for the rest of the afternoon, during which Cody told her he was going for a hike. The mother and son duo soon said their goodbyes, never knowing it would be the last time they would ever speak to each other. When they pulled up to the cabin, they noticed something very bizarre. A saw that was only able to be moved by 2 people due to its weight had been placed in the driveway. The kettle was still on the stove, and an unfinished plate of eggs was found in the kitchen. The two called out to Cody but got no reply. Panic immediately washed over them, and they began to search every inch of the cabin. The security and animal cameras that the Matthews had installed had been completely destroyed, and there were signs of forced entry to the cabin's side door. So where was Cody? After hundreds of failed calls to their son, Vern and Cindy contacted the El Dorado County Sheriff's Department and reported their son missing. The authorities and Cody's parents determined that he'd left for his hike with just a bottle of water, a hunting blade, a compass, his phone, and a bag of trail mix. Knowing that Cody had his phone with him at the time of his mysterious disappearance, authorities began to track his last pings. The last ping came at 6:30 p.m. on June 6th and led them to the South Fork of the American River. According to the MT Democrat, the pings, quote, showed him going in the direction of the house before ending in the water. Search and rescue volunteers were brought in to search the depths of the American River, along with its banks. However, no sign of Cody was ever found. For 8 days, volunteers, law enforcement officials, dog teams, divers, and helicopters scoured Pollock Pines looking for any sign of Cody. By the 8th day, the search was called off as nothing was found. Cody's family now feared that he met with foul play and that the burglary that took place at the cabin just days before is somehow connected. Investigators have never concretely linked the two incidents together, and just a month after their son disappeared, tragedy would befall them again. In September of 2014, a wildfire ravaged Pollock Pines, destroying the Matthews family cabin. The fire was determined to be an act of arson, and a person was arrested and charged. Investigators cannot say for sure whether this arson is connected to Cody's disappearance. However, the sequence of events surrounding his mysterious disappearance cannot be ignored. In the years since his disappearance, Vern and Cindy have continued to keep his legacy alive and hold out hope that answers are out there. Vernon Cody Matthews is described as a white male with blonde hair, blue eyes, and a full reddish beard, 6'3" and 220 pounds. He was last seen wearing shorts, no t-shirt, and barefoot-style shoes that leave a footprint. Anyone with information is asked to contact the El Dorado County Sheriff's Department at 530-621-6600, quoting case number 14052327. Number 2. The bizarre missing 411 disappearance of 22-year-old Nicholas Hyptus has continued to baffle both his family and investigators. Nicholas and his beloved dog, a white German Shepherd named Samantha, enjoyed hiking and walking through the wilderness on the weekends. So when Nicholas disappeared without a trace from his home in Appleton-Oconto County, Wisconsin, his family was shocked. According to reports, the last time that Nicholas or his dog Samantha were ever seen alive was on April 1st, 2019, at his home in Appleton. The exact circumstances surrounding his disappearance or his last moments are either unknown or have not been made public. Nicholas was reported missing shortly after this date when he failed to show up for work or make contact with his family. Unfortunately, there are very few news reports out there about Nicholas's disappearance. In the wake of Nicholas's bizarre disappearance, his family, friends, and the Appleton Police Department took to the streets of Appleton, desperately trying to locate him. Missing person posters and flyers were dotted around town, and the Appleton Police Department appealed to anyone with information to come forward. For 18 agonizing days, Nicholas's family waited for news and updates, and on April 18, 2019, the Appleton Police Department received their first and only breakthrough. On April 18th, police discovered Nicholas's abandoned 2012 black Ford Fusion on a road near Highway 64 and Shadow Lake Road, across from the Nicolet National Forest. This area is described as being heavily tree-lined with thick brushes and patches of vegetation. His parents and investigators are still unsure what led him to the area on the day that he disappeared. There was no sign of Nicholas or his dog at the car, and more bizarrely, her collar appeared to have been deliberately removed. According to the Charlie Project, around a mile away from Nicholas's abandoned vehicle, investigators discovered a tarp along with some gear. Scent dogs and even drones were brought in alongside search and rescue personnel to help in the hunt for Nicholas, but so far, all of these avenues have proved fruitless. In 2020, the Appleton Police Department told the Appleton Post-Crescent that the case had run cold, and since then, there's been little movement in the case. Nicholas Hyptus is described as a white male with brown hair, brown eyes, 5'10" to 6 foot, and 170 to 190 pounds. He has a tattoo of two squiggly uppercase Ys on his left wrist, and was last seen wearing a black Gucci brand sweatshirt, blue American Eagle brand jeans, and brown or mustard color steel-toed work boots. Anyone with information is asked to contact investigator Chad Riddle of the Appleton Police Department at 920-832-5947, quoting case number A1901-0228. Number 1. 51-year-old Michael Feisery of Southern California was described as an off-the-grid sort of guy. Both Michael and his sister had been adopted, and the two had quickly settled into life with the outdoorsy Feiserys. His family also joked that he had the memory of an elephant, giving him an advantage when it came to memorizing trails and paths while hiking. This fact made Michael's disappearance all the more troubling, and since 2005, his family has been wondering what happened to him. On June 15, 2005, Michael entered Yosemite National Park through Hetch Hetchy Reservoir to embark on a solo hike. According to sources, Michael planned to hike through Rancheria Falls, Till Mountain, Lake Vernon, and Beehive before looping back to the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir. However, on the day of his solo hike, Michael changed his mind, opting to walk the Pacific Crest Trail towards Till Mountain instead. Other hikers along the PCT recalled seeing Michael on his way up to Till Mountain, and this would be the last time he was ever seen or heard from again. His family raised the alarm on June 19, 2005, when Michael had still failed to return home from what was supposed to be a short hike. Michael's family told the media that he would often overestimate how far he could hike in a day, and hoped that there was a simple explanation for his disappearance. Michael had also gotten injured while out hiking before, having cracked his ankle in Yellowstone National Park. During this instance, Michael had to crawl out of the trail on his hands and knees until he was helped to safety. By June 21, 2005, the concern around Michael's well-being had grown so much that his family decided to contact the Yellowstone National Park Rangers to report him missing, and the search for Michael was immediately underway. Search and rescue workers, along with volunteers, scoured the Pacific Crest Trail and other parts of the park for Michael. Close to Till Mountain and a rugged part of the park, searchers found his backpack with a topographical map, a water bottle, and a camera missing. Michael's car was also found in the Hetch Hetchy car park. Search and rescue personnel searched by land and air for Michael, and brought in scent dogs, but no scent could be picked up. Multiple searches were conducted for Michael. However, no sign of him has ever been found. His family fears that he met with foul play or became injured off the trail and was unable to seek help. His sister now works with local charities to spread awareness to other hikers and to educate them on the dangers of hiking alone and being unprepared. She also volunteers her time to create hiking packs for people to take out with them, kitted out with the necessary supplies they'll need in all terrains and weathers. Michael Feisery is described as a white male with gray hair, green eyes, 5'8" to 5'10", and 150 to 165 pounds. He was last seen wearing a faded blue or gray t-shirt with the sleeves ripped off, olive green or khaki shorts, and a torn pink or red scarf. He was not carrying adequate supplies with him and had a beard and a mustache at the time of his disappearance. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Yosemite National Park Service at 209-372-0200, quoting case number NP14016611. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.